Welcome back, everybody, to Gringos Liberados. I swear we had 4 months off, and it feels like we're rattling out CBLOL every other day now, with first podcast, first weekend, back in for the second of the season. My name is Trajan. I'm joined by RMC and Rude Dude, returning to the airwaves now once again. Have been back on. How was your return to CBLOL on the weekend, Rude?
As expected, honestly. It's like I never left. It was real fun. I don't know what happened in 2024, and I don't need to know. The three-letter acronym didn't exist. And the CBLOL will reign supreme forever.
So true.
I love how Rude Dude's talking like 2024, the three-lettered acronym. But there's 2 years now. 2024 and 2025. 2025 was the OTA.
You lost. Who knows how much time you lost, to be honest. We didn't see it for a
I
while.
lost too much.
Hey, I'm with Rude though. Rude came back just as we went back to old CBLOL, like 2022, 2021 CBLOL. So I'm with you, man.
Yeah. Now, RMC, I hesitate to ask how you're doing.
Why? It's perfect. Everything's sunny. It's great. It's beautiful. What could possibly be wrong, Trajan? Surely nothing went wrong.
I don't know. I think I've made that up. I think that's no. You're so right. Actually, nothing's gone wrong for RMC in the last 48 hours.
We have no problems, no notes.
No problems, no notes. Pay no attention to the standings graphic on the screen.
Pay no attention indeed.
Okay, right. So let's address that first.
No, we don't have to.
Let's get into it, everybody.
Pain are 0 and 3. And those of you who watched our intro first episode last week will remember when we were all like tentative, you know, we'll put him in a nice, reasonable gentleman's A tier because, you know, Marvin's in now. They've taken some power out of that lane, and we'll see how the rest of it goes. But like, look at the quality on display. And then Super Bren was like, I'm feeling B tier for these guys. I don't know. I'm wondering about internal strife and all of this. And he was the one guy who saw the future. And B tier seems generous after that week one, to be honest. Languishing at the bottom, right next to Fluxo. So, RMC, given what we've seen from this first week, obviously, you know, we expected it was a big shift for them, a seismic change right last minute. Yep. What can we take away from Pain? I'm not necessarily asking you for like what to be happy about because that's going to be a very short answer. But
it's a short list.
What are we taking away from that first week for Pain?
Well, I do think a lot of the concerns we had last week on the podcast did come through. It did look like they were missing a leader in game, unfortunately. And I'm looking at it and I'm wondering how much of it is that Titan isn't here to lead the team. Visibis, a lot of these I feel like are Pain's traditional early year problems, right? It feels like they've misread the meta. You know, they pick Rumble for Robo, but they don't play for Robo whatsoever. They're not grouping up properly. They're kind of giving free picks over. That part feels the same as normal Pain problems. And if we look at their actual matches, it was Cade Stars, Furia, and Loud, of course.
Loud, yeah.
It was Loud, yeah. So the losses to Cade and Furia, I don't think surprised us at all. That was tough strength of schedule. Up against Loud, even that one was kind of interesting because it's all the memes, you know, like, oh, Loud Tenones is still going strong. It's like, yeah, you know, like they were competitive. And they honestly, I actually thought they were on track to win until Tenones got caught out. And I'm not even blaming Tenones for it. Van's been retired for a split. He needs some time back in. So was this upsetting? A little bit. Am I shocked by it? Not really. I'm not surprised that Pain is struggling a little bit. So yeah, they've got a lot of problems they need to work through. The quality is still there. The fact that they're still fighting well into Loud, probably should have wanted to throw it. The fact that they could drag the game out against Cade Stars when they're down 10,000 gold to get to that 20,000 gold deficit mark. Again, it shows they've still got some of that clutch. They're just not using any of it right.
I love the way that we turned Pain going 20k down into a positive somehow.
I was honestly impressed that they did that.
You know? Somehow RMC manages to make it happen every single time. And
just like Pain does, right?
Yeah, for sure. They're making playoffs, bro. I promise. Actually, I mean, I do want to sort of slightly bandwagon on this and say that this isn't full desperation, sound the alarm yet, because I think strength of schedule is a very good point to make. And you know, we look at them playing against probably the top two teams in the league. They lost against a team that we can argue whether they should or shouldn't have lost at. You know, who else had a tough strength of schedule and lost against a team that they shouldn't have done? VKS. Are we in this position where we're, you know, saying they're no longer one of the GOAT teams of our region right now? Well, no, I think we just sort of acknowledge the loss and then go, they're probably still fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we would never, especially since we're in this first section, all 8 teams go to either play-in or playoffs, so like no one gets eliminated just from round robin. They will have some best-of matches where players like Karaoke, Robo, Tinons, that's when the quality shines through, when normally the veterancy is going to work overtime for them, I think. So yeah, it's a grim start to the week. They did have some plays in the early game. They ultimately kind of got trounced by the top, what we probably perceive as the top 2 teams, now that we've seen that FURIA do seem to have come in point in the right direction again.
Yep.
And then the one against Loud, it was a massive Pain Loud banger extraordinaire. And yeah, ultimately, ultimately Loud managed to get through there, but no one really came out of mid lane looking good in that game, to be honest. Like, Margot was really trying to like Doran that game and throw it all the way away, going down like 3 and 7 on Syndra, having been like ferried through lane. And then Tinons ends up getting caught in the end anyway, so
don't you worry.
Tinons told the rookie to sit down, I'll show you how it's done.
Yeah,
you want to throw a game?
This is how you throw a game. Yeah.
Yeah, they get through the early game, crush the early game, hold the team through, make it look like the hero, and then just throw it all on the floor in one single play.
Yeah. So
the key is timing, guys. Right? Like if you do it 20 minutes into the game, your death timers aren't long enough.
Tinons can throw the game in 1 death. That's how good he is. Yep. Like, he doesn't have to.
That's veterancy, right?
He doesn't have to stack 7 high and still can't lose. Like, that's how we do it. Okay. So Pain, we're not fully off the. I think we're off the train, but we're not necessarily off the bandwagon just yet, and we'll see how they do into the bottom half of the table. We did come in feeling that there was a distinct top and bottom half, and that's largely held true, with one exception that we'll get onto near the top of the table. But while we're still down here, Fluxo also 0-3. One of the 3 teams that has, 6 teams that has played 7, I can't count. 5 teams that's played.
Teams, I think.
Oh my god, I literally can't. I went through every number except the right one. One of
Pain,
the several teams.
VKS, and FURIA.
4 teams.
It's on the screen in front of me and I can't count it. One of the several teams that have played 3 games already, and Fluxo went down 0-3 and kicked their coach. the true combo into 1-2-3 loss kick head coach. Like, that is crazy, man. Week 1 of the year? Oh my goodness.
And you look at their strength of schedule too, and this comes out like out of nowhere, right? Because they're facing Red, Los, and Cade. With the exception of Los, they were not favored to win. And even against Los proceeded to beat VKS after that. Before that? After that. So it's kind of like, wait, hold up a second. Like, you're playing great teams right now. Actually, no. Yeah, they beat VKS first. So
the first thing they did was beat VKS. Everyone went,
yeah.
Okay.
So, what are we blaming Aoshi for right now? That's and look, we don't know why they decided to drop Aoshi. Maybe there's some like communication friction, social friction inside the team, but at least from performance, it's a shocker.
Yeah, like the game against Red was a real game. They pushed Red, and Red had a pretty shaky week 1, which we'll talk about in a bit. But Fluxo and Leviatán both pushed Red a decent amount, you know, and ultimately, the nature of Fluxo and Loud and Leviatán and Los is a lot of them are a lot of players that haven't necessarily all played together ever, if much at all. And some of them will take longer to gel than others. I think Loss rolled a nat 20 on this one, and Fluxo's going to take a little bit more time. But it's going to take even more time if we're changing the coaching staff after 1 week and putting the assistant coach in. Are we getting a new coach? Is Sammy just heading the ship up from the rest of this cup? Or I don't know, like... He's just
he's been promoted for the interim, so Sammy is leading them into next week.
Interim doesn't fill you with confidence, though, when anybody uses that title. It's like, you'll do for now, but everybody kind of knows that this is what's going on, and we're probably looking to make some changes.
They didn't use the word interim. It's just like right now, they just said Sammy will be leading, and then we'll see kind of, we as fans and viewers will see what the hell
Yeah.
Fluxo W7M decides to do here. 'Cause-
Yeah.
I mean, looking at this from a Fluxo perspective, if they win a single game, then they have a better win rate than when they didn't have Aoshi, which is maybe some of the benefits that they can take from
Just a
this.
single
That
W
they
would
can
be
just
nice.
say,
They're
Well,
up against
actually-
Lev next week, which is kind of the team that we all, I think we in general agree would be below them. So it's kind of...
Yeah, I mean, on the preview episode, we were theorizing, we kind of got to the point of, well, I was like, I think Fluxo will be the best of the bunch, which is not seem to be the case. And maybe Loss or Leviatán will be fighting for the bottom. Now, one of them is certainly down there still. One of them isn't. And it was...
And I remember you said this last week, right? That we get a team wrong every split.
Yeah, and Loss is the one that we got fabulously wrong.
Yeah.
Yep.
So far.
Yeah, we said, like, you know, like the worst possible timeline really is the 0-3 start for Pain if all of the nightmares come true, and then can't wait for Loss to win the league. And here we are, and Loss is beating BKS and Pain's 0-3. So I don't know, man. We kind of tossed a bunch of darts.
Nightmares manifested.
Exactly. So for Fluxo, like that we saw a little bit from them. It kind of more or less lined up, I think, with what we probably would have guessed, as you say, into a tough schedule. Like Peach Peach and Bao were certainly there, but they didn't really feel like anything special in week one. There were a couple of good plays, but again, largely losing. Just kind of spent most of the weekend largely losing.
Peach got outclassed by pretty much everybody that he played against. And unfortunately, that really can't go under the radar. I think it's very obvious in jungle when you get outclassed in a game. And this time round, he got sourced through all of their games pretty much.
I mean, part of that I blame on Pro Delta as well. I don't know what the hell is going on with Prods. Like in their first game, Fluxo W7M against Red, I felt like he was throwing that game pretty hard.
I mean,
in their second game against, or was it second or third game? It was the game against VKS. I think
first one was Red. So for Fluxo, first one was Red, second one was Los, third one was for VKS.
Yes. So I thought in the third game Prods looked better, but in the first two games, like I thought Prods looked bad, and that it certainly doesn't do Peach any favors. Peach was not good, as Rude kind of pointed out. But Prods not connecting with him made it feel worse. Bao was the one I had a problem with. Statistically, Bao was the worst performing AD carry this weekend. Yeah. And that's with Marvin and Rebello walking face first into everything.
You have to remember that he's playing with a guy who's sending his life away. He can't step up to farm. He can't walk up to auto attack people because he's got no front line because they died off screen 2 seconds ago, like 2 seconds before the fight started. And I feel for AD carries out of pure sort of bias and sympathy.
Well, like, what are you supposed to do like on this champ when your team's running it down? Like
he gets given Jin
into a Scion.
Did he choose Jin or did Aoshi choose Jin?
Yeah, and then get fired.
Maybe that's why Aoshi got fired. Into a Scion.
So who has the authority here? Now I will say, the likelihood is that I'm going to be honest. It was he that chose Jin, right? And now she's probably like, dog, this champ sucks. In this position, you do not want to pick this champ. And he's like, nah, Jin's great. And then we Jin damaged.
Yeah. The bright side for Fluxo, though, I thought Curdy and House both actually performed pretty well.
I don't think Curry did that well, bro. Did he? Do you see that last game?
I thought he did fine.
He got absolutely creamed last game. He was like 0-5, bro. He was not existent last game.
That's fair. Okay, but 1 out of 3 games compared to like how the rest of the team.
I mean, even
I don't think he did that much.
In none of the games, was he like super Thanosing people topside while his team's like losing. I was waiting for him
to at least do good in the lane. I don't think we even saw that.
He was bodying FNB.
Was he bodying FNB? Or was he playing Rumble
in lane? Yeah.
FNB just went 1-8 on Sion
and fine.
Isn't Sion supposed to just lose that lane and then win the game? Am I crazy?
Sion actually into Rumble can play the lane. Once he picks up his first like null magic mantle, he's kind of fine. But I think Curdy still like out pressured him and still did well. Like outplayed FNB in lane. His TP timings right after the quest finish was really solid as well. I thought he did pretty well. And then the second game against Los against Zest. Like Zest was actually absolutely insane.
Zest the GOAT, I'm afraid. So what could he do into the GOAT?
Yeah, he's a zesty little guy. Like
flying into it. It wasn't bad by any means. So like I'm actually pretty happy the way Curdy performed. Same with House. Like House didn't have standout moments necessarily, but on a team which was struggling. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
He turned up, he got paid.
House was there. House turned up and got paid, and I feel like House
earned his money.
Maybe more than anyone was just like, what's going on? Like, what's happening around me? Like, I'm playing Galio and my team is already dead before I could even ult them.
Yeah, it's like, the return of the House of Xerox, isn't it? Where he's like, actually, if I pick Galio, we're gonna lose the game because I'm surrounded by people that can't enable my Galio.
Yeah.
For lack of better terminology. Whereas if I play a champion that can carry, there we go. That's the source.
Yeah, because like his Zarya game was like pretty mid, right? It wasn't like anything to crow about his Zarya game. It wasn't anything particularly special. So like, I don't know. I definitely don't feel like I saw much of anything from Curti. Considering kind of what maybe not. I didn't have like really high expectations for him either. Like I knew he did good in the lane last year, but we didn't really see anything else, and wasn't really sold. And I don't think I saw anything to sell me on him still. I'm pre-sold on House, so that's locked in. And then the rest of it was just kind of like, and yeah, the Pro Delta thing is just like, yeah, we're still just kind of, we're just doing whatever, like, and we can't just do whatever. Like there's plenty of lovely, options for you to pick here. You've got Alistair, you can ult and get away. You've got Leon to throw an ult and not go in, and we're still managing to just kind of just die for no reason. I don't know. So it seems like we've not moved anywhere on those pieces, and the imports have not landed well so far.
Yep.
And then they find the coach.
I think that's the important. Yeah. You bring your imports in, you're hoping that they're going to be the standout players that really make the difference.
Somehow. Yeah.
Yeah, you're using import slots, whereas if you're not having that impact as an import, you're very, very invaluable almost. Where you're put under a microscope immediately by the fans because they're saying, "Why have you taken a Brazilian spot?"
Mm-hmm.
And then they look at your performances and go, "We have a handful of Brazilians on speed dial that could do better than this. What's going on?"
Yeah. So yeah,
especially AD carry as well in Brazil.
Yes.
Sorry,
importing AD carries to Brazil is kind of wacky, to be honest. It's just like top and bot lane are. We've got so much juice, just like in all the way down the system. We seem to be creating these players. So who knows?
Just look at the recent rookie promotions AD carry, right? Morteus top the league last year in terms of stats. You got Marvin, who's arguably a flop, but is put in really bad positions. Rebello came up and he was top 2 as well out of nowhere. Dida had
let's just go to Lost, to be honest, because we're let's just go straight to Lost here. Let's get the mood a little higher here. So Lost Grandes 2-0. The first thing they did was kind of dumpster VKS, and because the reason why they were already in my head before you even mentioned I'm still going to keep calling him Doodoo because of that YouTube comment that said that's what it was. So until someone attacks
until Doodoo himself comes on the pod and says it's not Doodoo,
I'm going to keep calling him that. So before Doodoo, I was also thinking of another player that I was not sold on at all, but RMCU were kind of, which was Drake Hero, who came in onto Lost and actually kind of smoked Desamis a little bit, and was like really good. And the last time we saw him in CBLOL was on Liberty, which was a pretty kind of going nowhere. Was that the one with Juliera on it and that? Like,
that was the Liberty. Yeah,
I think that was the post Desamis Liberty, maybe actually. I don't remember what the
after he'd been picked up,
but we didn't see much of it. And now he's come back on Lost. And if we ever need an example of imports that elevate a team, we certainly have one in top side at the very least. Zest was 1v2ing Robo and Karaoke just for absolutely zero, and putting up crazy numbers both in fantasy and stats, and just looked like he was putting his hands on everyone in those games.
He didn't play. They didn't play Pain. It was Cade and Fluxo, right?
Maybe it was Desamis and Bowl I'm thinking of. He certainly put his hands on a top jungle that was like, he's been ganked and now it's time for you to die. And
I think it was Bold Desamis.
Inexplicably didn't. So maybe it was Bold Desamis that he didn't.
Frankly, the way he was playing, he did it both games, right? Like the Mbessa against Fluxo W7M was particularly dirty, I felt like. But then, even up against Cade Stars, it was just kind of nasty. You're talking about how AD carries and top lane are the two roles that any import comes in and they're going to be heavily scrutinized. Zest is definitely passed the test. Like, bro came in and just started smashing right from the get-go. It's worth noting as well that this particular split, we have hardly any... Like, top lane is all domestic talent. right? Like it's all Brazilians plus Devis to is from Colombia, I believe, South America as well. So it's all local talent, and then Zest. And Zest just like schooled some talents. I'm very much looking forward to seeing Zest play against like FNB and Gigo. Not so much Robo right now, but yeah, Gigo is definitely gonna be a fun one.
I think that Zest just like he had such an like we say microscope on him, but he really lived up to it, and at least shone underneath it at the very least. Like you say, when he starts going up against some of the true top lane Brazilian talent that we know that we've got, you highlight some great members there. That's when we start to think or start to see really what Zest can do fully. I'd say. I think expectations coming into the split were probably pretty mid to low in terms of what we were anticipating. And after week one, it's important not to completely blow things out of proportion. But there's a very real possibility that just because he's been able to beat Bowl, I still, again, I come from the era of Bowl being not the best top laner in the league.
You missed Bowl
for lack of a better term.
You've missed VK as Bowl. You still remember what was it?
And to be fair, he only
INTZ Bowl.
Bowl was only really unleashed for like the second half of the third split of 2025. So
okay, well,
there wasn't a
there
lot
we
of
go.
data.
In my head, when I look at the top laners in the CBLOL, I don't look at Bowl and Curti and go, this Zest guy must be the GOAT.
No.
There are unfortunately other pieces and other bits of the puzzle that need to be put together before I'm willing to stake my life on a Zest MVP, but we're working our way towards it, you know?
Yeah.
At least for week one, I'm willing to call Zest
certainly
MVP,
a good start. Certainly a good start. But it all just seemed to fit together very, very well. Drake Hero was playmaking and leading the charge, and everyone was getting behind him. The lanes were like stable. Feisty was probably the lowest performer, and he didn't really put up. He was playing like Talia at least once, maybe even twice actually.
It was Talia
Azir, right? And like he didn't really do much. He didn't like dominate the lane. He kind of was a little behind. He didn't really rack up kills, but he was there and he was using his CC abilities. And
did he lose his team the game?
No, certainly didn't. And
no, definitely not a liability whatsoever. Yeah,
we're carrying crazy, and then Drake Hero was leading the charge. It was pretty cool to see.
So I guess first impressions of Dida then, because he's the big rookie promotion this split.
Definitely a lot of confidence, believes in his own skill, because the first thing he does is lock Ezreal and force the level 2 by like flashing into melee range of his opponent. I'm like, yes, man, get in there. Lower that auto attack cast time. Yeah, get that one done. And then like proceeded to mechanically kind of dominate.
Land
like
every single mystic shot.
Yeah, so absolutely no notes for Duty, to be honest. That's the way that our best AD carries play in this region, is they play with high confidence, they take games into their own hands, and they put up the numbers, and that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, there were multiple instances of AD carries just getting caught on mid waves where we know that they shouldn't have died. There was one of the games that I watched where a team takes Baron, AD carry walks back through mid lane over a ward in the face of 3 people, and I'm like, yes, well, you can't walk there, and we'll learn that one in future, but you know, you're winning the game anyway, so it's okay to let this slide, but even still, we're kind of thinking that there's a little bit of learning still to do for a couple of these new AD carries. Dudu in particular, I mean, there are instances where the skill shots are not quite landing. Obviously, I think that acclimatizing to tier 1 versus tier 2 is obviously going to take a little bit of time, but he started out really strong this week.
Mm-hmm.
For sure, yeah. I personally haven't watched it in CD for a while. Like I think he's currently overperforming, which is great, which is fantastic. I hope he can keep the form. But yeah, I think his first week was definitely like better than I expected, and I wonder how much of that's attributable to Ackerman. Because interestingly enough, we haven't talked about Ackerman. Ackerman won MVP in both their games, and I believe that is by. I think they're doing MVP by crowd vote right now.
That's wild for Ackerman to get the crowd vote when Dudu was on the stage. Like as a
so probably not crowd vote then. Yeah, but I know that they usually have the poll in Twitch chat for the CBLOL.
That is
for anyone who's not Brazilian to win the crowd vote is going to be wild. If it is
Kai Wing won the first one.
That's because it's the top 8 world support. They're just gonna throw him anyway. But like it's like for both Dudu as a local talent who also had a very flashy start and like was especially in that first game was very, very strong. And Zest as well, who was like openly, 1v2ing and making like these kind of that guy's sick plays that would convince punters. Like to have Ackerman actually be the MVP in both those games is interesting because like I feel like there was a game where I would at least 1 or 2 games where I would definitely give the support MVP, but it wouldn't have been those games. So that is quite interesting, and maybe just like the quiet influence that Ackerman does have because he's got a lot of years under his belt, and now he has a much more domineering AD carry beside him than we saw on the Isra Seshal days. And he's taken to that. He seems to have taken to that like a duck to water, which is cool. He's not been left behind.
It just reminds me of the Seo's Duds breakup, right? Where for the longest time, Duds the boy and Seo's like a duo, and then they broke up, and Seo's became the best player in Brazil. And now it's like Snaker Ackerman. They broke up, and now Ackerman's just like, I'm unleashed. The shackles are gone. Like chop the weight sort of deal, right? Like not to say that Snaker is terrible. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the way he played, but
I would say he was the worst.
I don't know, man. It just
that's what I would say.
Yeah, he wasn't. So yeah. To me, it's really interesting. I'm very much looking forward to see how Lowe's continues this. Part of me also feels like it's just the sort of week 1 variants that we get in CBLOL, where everything always just kind of goes wild in the first split, especially the early weeks. So yeah, Lowe's definitely probably my team to keep an eye on for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, they managed to put the win together against VKS without throwing it or losing control of the game through mid and late game because winning early game is the easiest thing to win. Like it's just you put a strategy together. Sometimes you get the right rock, paper, scissors. Sometimes you just have your laning is better or whatever. You get a couple of ganks off, and then mid game happens, and suddenly where are we going? Where am I laning? What's the objective timer? How do we approach this pit? And it all kind of falls apart. And VKS would be able to is a team that could punish something like that, but Lost did not lose their heads, and they actually approached that stage of the game very well. They kept their mission in mind. They didn't make silly mistakes. Like that was great to see against a team that if you left the window open, they would punish you for it. I have to believe. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, we'll see how Lost does continuing. Let's head back down to where we were before. Let's talk a little bit about Leviatán, who are 0-2. And their first game wasn't much of anything. It was into FURIA, and FURIA just kind of that was FURIA's second game. So FURIA had already beaten Loud by that point, and FURIA very much looked like they're back to kind of business as usual. And Leviatán just got kind of rolled. But I will say that over this weekend, Seo still got it, man. Seo's still trying.
Yeah,
he's still 100%. Good. But again, there's just how can play in these games.
And then this is I guess the difference between Seo and
Bao.
Looking quickly, and Bao, right? Where you're thinking if Bao good, why Bao no do damage? Whereas Seo, you're looking Seo good and Seo do damage, but you can see not particularly enabled, let's say.
Yeah.
And I think obviously with Seo looking like a good, solid marksman, it brings, great light to the fact that all the AD carry changes in the world don't make this role good.
Okay,
we can have 7 items. We can have 7 items. We still don't have any carry agents.
We've finally got an AD carry on the pod, and now we've got takes like this. That's cool.
No, here's the problem. Seo good? Question mark? Because bro, I think it was against the FURIA game. Trader, I think you were casting it, where he lane swapped.
He did
really early
before
and didn't finish his quest, and he took forever to finish it.
Yeah,
by like not just like a minute or two. It was like 5+ minutes. Where he was
hands good, brain bad.
Yeah, at some point,
that's the AD carry away.
Someone needs to do a calculation on like how much gold did he lose by swapping mid before the quest was finishing and staying for what felt like minutes, and then eventually getting it later. So you get like the lump sum, which obviously you can just get whenever, and you don't need the 7th item slot at say 60 minutes, whatever. But every minion that you kill when you haven't completed the quest is worth less gold. So
yeah. 3 less gold.
It's 3? I thought it was 1 less gold.
So 2. Sorry,
okay,
2
yeah.
gold per minute.
Yeah. That would be
but it still adds
wild.
up, right? And they've increased they've decreased the minion spawn time. So it's like 3 waves per minute.
Yeah, you're still sacking almost an entire caster per wave. Like if you're theoretically using like 12 gold a wave on average, obviously then Cannon's another one, for every minion you kill without the +2 once you finish the quest, right? So
you're missing like 3 waves of that. So you're missing like 3 minions per
for every
minute, basically.
Yeah, and like I don't know, it just seems like someone will need to work out exactly how much gold he lost, and this is the kind of the question that again that Bren was kind of positing on the first episode. Someone's gonna have to do the math and work out, okay, how much gold is it worth to sacrifice for us to do this lane swap now to get X gold that will pay off in a couple minutes. And gold is an easy metric to track, but it's harder to track like when now we have better control over this objective, we have a better reset timer on this or whatever. And that becomes very hard.
I turned up to this Drake on time. Is that worth 100 gold that I've lost? Type situations, you know?
Yeah. So that the equation becomes hard to balance right there. But it certainly seems like it's watching that game where nothing was happening.
I mean, let me spin it a different way.
Yeah.
The amount of times that so if we ever asked the question, is it worth to go back to finish an item if you aren't going to be on time to the objective? The answer's no, right? Like if you're not going to be on time to the objective, the answer's no. And normally finishing an item is like 1,200 gold.
Mm-hmm.
If we're staking that amount of gold on something, even if it's only 600, if it's a Zeal item or you're a tank who's got all the components or a mage or something, it's never worth it to not be on time to go back and finish your item. So these quests, you know, I mean, the value that you're going to have to put on that, yes, it changes throughout the game as well. Like, yes, we can probably give up a dragon 5 minutes into the game, but can we give up a soul 25 minutes into the game? The value there obviously changes a little bit, but you know, you can give it a slightly different context and kind of see that. I think it's probably not as massive a deal as maybe it gets blown into sometimes.
Yeah, and about 16 minutes or whenever you're kind of finishing quests, so you're normally looking at second or third Drake, maybe like a Rift Herald. Like if you're trying to think of like what are we late to, I guess. Like if we're delaying and we're kind of putting ourselves out of pocket here, what are we missing out on? You're not going to miss out on a soul. Certainly not the CBLOL. We're not even going to be close to that. I mean, directly to the CBLOL, but like so. And then work like how much kind of value is this weird sort of positional delay that we're.
I mean, okay, we're starting to go slightly like off tangent, so if this needs to be trimmed to keep the thing in, like we might trim this. But the way I figure is most of the time quests are finished around the 12-minute mark. What objective are you fighting for at the 12-minute mark? Dragons right now, at least in CBLOL, are being taken closer to like the 10, 11-minute mark, kind of late compared to usual. So Dragon's not really something that you're necessarily fighting for on the lane swap. The Herald doesn't spawn till...
And grubs are usually gone.
Grubs are usually gone. Herald hasn't spawned yet. So the problem is you're just kind of fighting for what then? Like, just to try and shut down your opposing...
The love of the game, RMC! For the love of the game! That's why we're fighting. We're fighting because we want to.
Right. For the love of the game, we should... Well, but... so basically, there's no strategic thing you're fighting over on those particular lane swaps.
Often
most of the time. Yeah, and specifically in that particular matchup too, I remember like we were looking at it going like, what's the purpose of this right now? So I don't think the Grubs or Herald was up at the time. Dragon was definitely not up at the time.
Yeah, it seemed like he just moved mid and did nothing for 3 minutes and then was like, oh, I haven't finished my quest. And then it was like, okay, that's good.
So I'm just really, I guess, puzzled by it, especially when CEO is such a good AD carry that he just randomly opted to do that. And part of me is wondering, like, is this a coaching issue that they thought it didn't matter and then they just didn't give it thought and therefore wanted to play the old style, which was, you know, sort of just rotate your ball.
Yeah, it might have just been a little bit of autopilot. Like, whatever. I've now achieved X goal. Now it's time to rotate to mid because I've taken this plate or I've gone this, and I'm like, oh wait, hang on, I can't rotate to mid yet. Shoot. So who knows? But that was a weird little interaction. We'll see if we have any more intentional or not instances of self-delaying role completions. So for Leviatán, their second game was against Red, and that one was had a lot more to like for Leviatán fans, especially in the early game. We saw solo kills from Devast. We saw Seo and Toplop again doing strong in lane. I don't remember if we saw anything particularly from Enga. It was like, so they had like a quiet lane against Kaze.
Getting bodied.
So in lane, they were just like even CS, and then once the lanes ended, Kaze started racking up kills really fast and became like 4k ahead in like 5 minutes. So that kind of snowballed out of lane. But early on, they were leads in top, leads in bot, and they seemed to be generally in control of what was going on. So that was cool. But again, then we got into the mid game and we saw Red very gradually, I will say. Normally we see teams like FURIA, like they're accruing better gold on the map and they end up ahead even if they're giving away some kills. But Red was taking a long time to hold on to not losing and then very slowly getting the lead back over about 30 minutes. And then they
I
finally
blame Curse and Rebello for that. Bros were.
Yeah, Rebello was not having a lot of fun on Varus this weekend, I will say. He was being very, like, just play safe at times, and he was also positioning pretty badly at times. Like,
yeah, he was playing like Titan, bro.
The red first game against Fluxo, I'm putting that on Rebello. I'm largely putting this on Rebello for where he was. But he's just getting like a Bessa ulted, and he's like, well, good luck. And the second one, I felt like he was just getting hard dived a bit more, and he wasn't positioning perfectly. I'm not saying this, but I don't think it was as egregious in the left game.
I don't know. I feel like if eating mystic shots in the mid to late game as the rarest, like something went wrong. You know?
And that lane, he was magnetizing them, bro. He was eating them.
Well, that was out of lane that was choking me. Like, he's in the jungle and he's taking the corners first. It's like, brother, Frosty should be the first one in. Frosty is next to you, and Frosty's like trying to clear a ward or something, and Rebel's like, okay, you do that. I'm gonna look for the end gauge. It's like, brother, I know you've got Chains of Corruptions, but you don't have to be the first one in. And then Curse was like, yeah, you know, I'm gonna engage. I'm Wukong. It's like, yeah, you are. But you're not tacky enough to be doing this. And he's just like brute forcing all kinds of crap. To be fair, there were some very interesting plays from Curse where he kind of got out of really risky situations. He probably shouldn't have been in those situations in the first place.
It was pretty messy.
Man.
It was pretty messy.
Because he has the hands, but maybe not the mind to be where he wants to be. You know?
See, partners, they had the mind last year, and Richard's just
they have backstepped a little bit on the mind for sure. Except for Frosty,
super fun to watch. Though.
Except for Frosty, my guy was locked in this week, and we'll talk about Red in a moment. So Leviatán 0-2, they were better against Red, and there's definitely like these players, especially the LLA kind of imported from tier 2 LLA. We knew they had hands, and we saw some of the hands. We saw some of the vision there. Sayo is still goated, so that's fine. It was a decent start, and we'll see how they develop going forward. Again, they had to play Furia and Red, so not a lot of fun to be had.
Yeah.
So Loud in fifth, 1-1. And we had Loud versus Furia, where they did not log on. They were not present on the Rift. Youngjae picked Lee Sin. I was so close to taking Youngjae jungle and picking the Lee Sin champion, because I thought, like, this is the kind of shit Loud would do, is they would import like a Hans Korean import jungler. So just play Lee Sin and like just try and solo queue it out. And that's kind of what he did, but he did not succeed in solo queuing it out versus Tattoo and Furia. And it just wasn't really much it didn't feel like there was much to see from Loud in that game.
And quick shout out to Youngjae as well. I saw on the Twitter that he's looked for and been linked our English broadcast, so he's received the flame that we send his way after the Lee Sin performance. But always good to see some players getting a glimpse of the broadcast as well. And I mean, it's unfortunate that his Lee Sin debut in the CBLOL ended the way it did. But we got to see a game versus Pain as well, which I mean, to say that he's coming into Loud, playing the marquee matchup almost for the CBLOL as an entirety in week 1, and he wins it, it's going to give some good graces.
Yes,
for sure. And we got to remember who they were up against, right? It was up against Furia in the first game. So
and Furia looking good. Furia looking good, and I think we do need to say this, because this was present in the Pain game as well. I don't know if Margot is ready yet. I don't think we're quite there. We already joked about the Syndra deaths in the Pain game, and in this one against Tuts, he was just getting perma-eating lasers on Orianna into Victor, which, you know, Victor's hard lane to dodge the poke, but also you got to dodge him sometimes, brother man, and it just was not being done. And Tuts got a very smooth ride back into this season, to be honest, to get his head right. So I don't know, man. Like, we had questions about the two rookies. In the Pain game, Shino absolutely popped off. Amazing Sion game. Great carry Sion game, was eliminating Marvin left, right, and center. Huge ults, huge Qs. I don't think he even died. It was excellent. In the first game, I think he just he didn't do anything particularly massively wrong, I think, but Gigo was Gigoting and Cassante and just kind of, you know, there wasn't too much it felt like he could do in that game, but like the whole map was toppling, so no one really had like anything to drag them back in at some point.
And I do feel also like the first game, the draft felt really bad to me from Loud. Like I wasn't quite sure what they wanted to do with that draft. It felt like they had a Rumble without too much proper setup. They were relying very heavily on Redbird, to play into an Alistar, which is complicated. Like the Lee Sin felt kind of aggressive for lanes that might not necessarily dominate. The Kaisa into Yunara felt really bad for me. Like I just think as a whole, the first game for Loud felt a little bit just off. And I'm glad they kind of recovered for the second day. We talk a lot about Youngjae, and I like Youngjae's style. He reminds me a lot of Renska Croc when we first saw Croc.
Welcome back. Welcome back, Loud
good
Croc.
pull. Good pull.
Yeah.
So not Loud Croc. Welcome back, Renska Croc.
Renska Croc.
Not
I think Loud they managed to beat the Lee Sin out of the Croc by the time he hit Loud. But so I'm kind of happy. I'm fine with how Youngjae's playing. Bull was the one I was kind of watching for a little bit because he's replacing Root.
Yep.
Who felt like the bedrock for Loud. In game 1, it didn't work out, but game 2, the laning, Sivir beating Varus. Like, Sivir gets picked in the Varus a lot of times because you can nullify the Varus. You're not expected to necessarily just like grab the Varus, grab adoption papers, and drag them to court. You know, like that's kind of what Bull did to Marvin in game 2. And I was like, okay, well, this is the Bull that they wanted, I guess. This was supposed to be the Root replacement. So I do think Loud has a bit more upside than I was originally expecting looking at the names coming in. I don't know if I'd say they're the best of the bottom or the best of the lower 4 necessarily, but at least it gives me a little bit more hope watching how they're interacting. I expect them to be rather volatile from what I've seen from Youngjae and Bull the first 2 games.
Yeah, I mean, I think for what we saw against Pain, at least individually, for Shino, from Bull at least showing that he's got like a good floor to play for and was able to, as you say, like actually get one over on, admittedly, Marvin and Curry, a lane that we expected to struggle a bit. Besides the kind of dearth in mid lane, I think that they've got a really good foundation here. In terms of the best of the bottom 4, like currently, Pain is part of that conversation. Do I think Loud is actually better than Pain? I don't know if I'd say that yet. They certainly won a very drawn-out, close game against them, but I don't know if it's too early to say that. I think it probably is. But the pieces, there's definitely a lot to like in these pieces. Redbird especially as well. Again, the game 1 was just like no one had anything to offer in game 1, so I'm really going to focus on game 2. Like, the Rel was exceptional, and I like that it was just both supports being like, here's my massive 3-man engage, here's my massive 4-man engage, actually. And they were both working heavy overtime shifts to just try and win the team fights. Curry and Redbird were really putting on a show, which was cool to see, but Redbird did seem to be getting the better of it more times than not. So, and then
which is nice as well.
Yeah, exactly, because we had the questions for Redbird, and it's been a while since we've seen him really pop off. So that was pretty cool. And it does give me hope for this. Yeah, I just... mid lane is just not a pool that we have lots of great players in. A lot of the exciting ones are now locked into academy rosters that are probably going to stay there to then be promoted onto main rosters. People like, is it Sarolu or Quats? Which one's the mid laner from BKS? Is it Quats?
For I think Quats hopped over to them last year.
I think it's Quats. Yeah, because he was on Pain.
Okay, before, question right? Is an uninitiated. Where did Fu go?
CD.
Fu's in CD. Which team he's on?
He was on Fluxo last year. No, he was almost going to be. He was second in line for VKS because they had Quats, but he was heavily considered. So Fu went to Fluxo last year and got sort of emotionally beaten down by.
He's on red.
He's on red now. Okay, that's cool. So Fu kind of lost the light behind his eyes last split. It was a pretty depressing kind of thing for Fluxo. It was full like sort of academy players, not even all the same team of academy players, like just kind of thrown together, and they had nothing to do and had a bad time. So it kind of ended up a bit like the Kaboom roster from a few splits ago back in 20. You'll remember that one, the 10th place Kaboom one with Redbird on it, where it was just grim by the end of it. It was just depressing. And Fluxo kind of ended up like that. And like Fu, initially he had still shown that kind of quality underlying. As the year went on, even that seemed to kind of fall away, and I'd worried that he was just kind of gonna get pushed out. But CL did say in the offseason that he still definitely thinks he's got potential and got the source, and like I say, was considering him for VKS Academy. Yep. He's back in CD, so hopefully we will see him return again. And I'm pretty sure you'll find a podcast somewhere in like 2024 or something where we had posited Loud Fu. Like, I'm pretty sure that's probably on record somewhere on the YouTube annals. Yeah. And I'd rather they had Fu than Margot right now after that week 1, to be honest, because at least because we know that Margot had never really shown us enough yet. We have seen enough from Fu at times. So who knows, man? But I don't think that's
I see why they did it. I mean, last year in CD, like Mago was doing well in Academy.
Yeah.
So I guess they were like, okay,
was he doing well, or was he like top one by far?
Oh no, he was doing well. He was not top one by far. I mean, we had like Linkus down there as well.
Because Shino wasn't top one. Shino wasn't top one by far either. He was just like doing fine, and he seems to have taken to it better. But it's it's tough.
I mean, heck, Los Grandes in CD actually had imports. They had Kabi or sorry, I forgot his name. He changed Sanghyun after a name change down there, and they had MG, a Korean import, as their mid laner as well. So it's like there was kind of competition for the mid lane. Envy was down there. He wasn't doing great, but
yeah,
you know, so
Envy.
Love it.
Mago wasn't the best by far, but when you're on Red or VKS Academy, when they're doing so well as a whole, it certainly makes you look better, right? So
yeah, so definitely plenty to be excited about for Loud. Mid lane, I think, is going to be a problem. We'll see how they react to it. They certainly haven't fired him yet, like Fluxo did with their coach. So
they're not week one.
Was a little bit more commitment, hopefully. Now into the top half, and we're already at VKS. We already just got to the top half of the table. We're already tripping over VKS at 2-1. So they took the win versus Fluxo. Now they didn't have Fluxo pushed them in the early game and kind of made them work a little bit for it, but VKS ultimately they kind of ran into the mid game thing, and then VKS was like, okay, like, adults in the room now, let's just take this one away. So they took that down. Then they lost to Los, and everyone was like, okay, what the heck?
They didn't lose to Los. They got like actually, like, you thought you were the adults in the room. We've now just fully shown that that's not the case.
Maybe the tweener in the room. We're the adults.
No, it's like, you know, the kids just run up to the adult and just whack them in the crotch all of a sudden, like out of nowhere. Kate Stars just was not expecting them to do that. And then
it was a successful gut punch
to the nuts, and VKS went down hard in that one. And then they got what, 3-4 kills that entire game. Like it was like 4-2. It was the fastest game all weekend. Was 25-minute win loss of VKS.
Checks out.
And then Paint Gaming.
Where the kind of the nightmare weekend of Pain was sort of sealed away. And admittedly, I will say, I don't think we saw that much from Miryu in week one. We got used to Miryu just kind of clapping everybody all the time, and he had a pretty slow start, so that's kind of a little bit notable for me at least. But Desamis was really cooking, and he and Kaiwing seem to be meshing very well. We've heard like reports that Kaiwing talks a lot in the game. He's I think the phrase that Bol used was he's less intense than Trimby. Kind of the impression that he's less emotional, lower highs and higher lows, as it were, more even across the board, which I think Bol, the implication is he probably prefers that. And communicates a lot very clearly, very effectively, as does Trimby. But so Kaiwing certainly seemed to fit very well. And we could see like during the draft, he's like talking a lot during the draft, talking about picks to the coaches and smiling and everything. So seems to have slotted in real nice.
Excellent. I mean, that's what you want. I mean, this guy's top 8 from Worlds. We were expecting him to come in and have the hands. For him to come in and then also have the communication as well is a very, very big deal for VKS, right? And one of the things as well, they got slammed by Los. One of my favorite adages is that good teams lose quick because they know like they're either gonna flip their way back into the game or they're gonna flip their way out of it, right? Like if you know that you're in a losing percentage play, you have to try and make them happen. And you know, I don't recall the comps too well to know whether VKS could have played the 600 CS Civ win condition style, but
they had misfortune that game.
If they're playing MF, then they have to lose the game quickly, right? You play the game how it's intended to be played, and if you get kills and come back, excellent. If the game's over in 25 minutes, also excellent. We get to go home earlier. Because at that stage the game's done. And obviously there's questions around how you got there in the early stages of the game that you can ask, and whatever else you want to go through. But I do have a firm belief in that the good teams lose quick is a real sentiment of mine.
Sure. Yeah. I think Cage just got sucker punched a little bit. They bounced back phenomenally back on Sunday, so I'm not worried about them. It's a bit of a shocker that they lost to Los, but I still think they're top, like up there, you know, top 2 team right now. So
for sure. There's the substitution has not hurt them at all. It's just about them getting themselves in gear and starting to address the problems that they do have to try and work that through. So certainly still going to be a top contender. I think there's very little doubt about that. Red Canids are just above them right now on 2-0, and if there's a fake ordering of the standings if I ever saw one, because Red Canids really sweated and whined and complained all the way to those 2 wins. and
they weren't against amazing teams.
No, they
let's
were
be
not.
frank.
They had maybe the
it wasn't
easiest
like
week 1 of anybody.
They didn't have to like dice it up against VKS and FURIA and scrap their way to victories. I mean, well, that's actually true. They did have to dice their way to victories and scrap it up. It's just they were doing it against teams that they should have been
Fluxo
sweeping to the side quite quickly.
Should have been walking it in, and they were really making a mess of it.
But their fundamentals are still strong. Like, even when they're losing the early game, at no point were we like, oh, they've been cut out or blown out, right? Like in the mid game, they came back as we expected them to.
Yeah.
Not necessarily through better macro, just by being better. Like they were winning. They'd be down gold and still win 1v1s, or down gold still win 2v2s, and they're just like, well, why are we here, guys? Like, if you could do this, why didn't we do this from the get-go? So it felt like Red was just being Brazilian.
It's FURIA Light. It's the like, we kind of like gave you some freebies in the early game, but we're actually still 1,500 gold ahead, and we don't even really know why, and you certainly don't know why. So we're gonna win the Dragonflight anyway, even though we gave up 3 ganks for free. Like, so
brings me to Rude adage of League of Legends teams part 2, and this isn't just League of Legends. This is most things. The good teams win when they play badly. And Red, like even when they play quite poorly for their standard, they still win the game. That's how you know that's the mark of a good team.
Yes.
And
that was FURIA kind of all last year until Split 3, where they played so bad that they couldn't even win anymore. But
they were no longer a good team.
No, but like Split 1 and then into Split 2, where they started, if in ways sometimes it felt like they were playing worse, but they were winning more. It was kind of wild.
Yeah.
Like, so, and then it finally fell apart. But yeah, it absolutely holds true here. They're both the most Brazilian teams, kind of in a literal and metaphorical and stylistic thematic sense, and that's just cool, man. The one person who was not playing like, not, dropping some chump moves, I think was Frosty, as we've said, who I think had a great week 1. And if anyone's getting a support MVP, it's got to be that guy's Rakan, man. He's absolutely cracked on this pick. So
Frosty Rakan was good when I left, man. This guy's still
and it's only gotten
insane,
better, man. I'm really happy that Frosty has continued to grow kind of linearly over time, because we lost Seos to the accursed north, and now we needed another top dog Brazilian support, because Pro Delta kind of was up and then it's just spiraled off into wherever he is now. And they were both kind of coming up at the same time, so I'm really glad that we have Frosty to represent the Brazilian support role well, because he's looking really good.
Again, interestingly, Frosty didn't get a single MVP this weekend.
That is criminal, bro. Who got it in the second
Kaze.
game? Oh, Kaze. I mean, Kaze was like, so that's like, this is the reverse of what should have happened, I think. Because Kaze was doing kind of just like, you showed up after not really getting an advantage early, and then was like just doing Aurora, like keyboard punch, triple kill. And like, he's good at that, and he's always been good at that. But I don't really feel like Kaze was necessarily making game-winning plays. He was turning up to fights and dishing out damage. But like, I don't think
he got that solo kill in the side lane. Am I remembering the Aurora versus Renekton solo correctly?
He did do that. He did get a solo kill onto the boss,
which is a really, and that at that time in the game as well, that's like a really pivotal side lane indicator.
And I think right before that, or right after that, there was that fight near the Dragon Pit in the jungle where Red kind of threw a little bit, and Rebello and Curse both got caught out of position, and Kaze somehow reversed the tides, and they walked back in 3v2 at the end of it. So I'm kind of okay with that one. And then it was the first game that I think Curse got MVP for his Jace play, and Kaze was in Zoe and was like a little bit late to everything. That one I feel like Frosty got robbed, because I thought Frosty's Tempered Fates was really what set up Curse for a lot of that. I'm not a fan of Jace jungle, guys. Like, I'm sorry. I feel like it's okay. It's got damage, but you need somebody to set you up. And to me, it's whoever's setting you up is the MVP.
Disagree. That's why Jace jungle is OP. You don't need someone to set you up. You just fog of war Q on every 8 seconds. Half HP AD carry,
what Tatu was
win game.
as well. Yeah.
Sure, like you can help win a lane that way, but like when the Jace looks really good, it's because of setup. And unfortunately for Brazil, I don't think Brazil's figured out how to use Jace jungle yet. So what we're seeing in CBLOL with our Jaces is like, oh, the lane sets you up. Like there's some sort of CC that lands, and then they just all in with the Jace every single time. and he just kind of.
I think the power of the Jace comes from outside of laning, right? It comes in that mid game where you're just poking for. You're just like empowered Varus Q, no diminishing returns, but it's AOE and it's on a much shorter cooldown, and it's Fog of War, and it gives you first strike gold.
Rude, you said the magic word, poke.
Yeah.
And in Brazil, it is magic because they don't know how it works.
So Red actually tried to do this in the game one because they had Varus, Varus, Jace, and Zoe, right? And we've got a poke comp, cool. And they really hammed it up, and they weren't really using it very well, and they almost lost. And they didn't look like they know what they were doing. They drafted an identity though, cool. And then everyone else was just like, how about we just play Jace? And then maybe have Varus as well, maybe, but then just have like Aurora or whatever. Just have a Rise mid. Let's have a Rise mid with our, and that's kind
we need
of
consistent DPS, guys.
And now we're trying to set the Jace up with a Rise prison maybe or something. But yeah, it's whether we actually need to do a poke comp, because certainly the people who won with it were the vastly better junglers in skewed matchups. So like Tattoo and Curse winning in that way isn't necessarily representative of how well they drafted around Jace or whatever. I think they're just better. So
I think that my take is if your coach lets Jace through, you deserve to lose, and that's a staple. And one of the games that I watched
in draft.
Yeah, you don't. There was a game where nobody banned Nico, and it got through to second phase, and it didn't get picked. And I was like, "What happened here, guys? We've forgotten the most OP support that exists. Please, come on." But again, skill check. If you can't acknowledge that Nico exists, you don't deserve to win the game.
There we go. Strong words. Strong words on draft, at least. So we'll see if we start doing more poke comps with Jace, or we keep just slotting it in with kind of whatever, and if that starts to help or hinder as we maybe potentially learn some bad habits, or maybe we'll get better at it. Let's find out. Certainly, it seems like only our kind of generally our good junglers have played it, and they've succeeded. But we'll see how that goes into tougher matchups, perhaps. So, Red, certainly a stressful first week. We didn't see as much lane dominance out of FNB. His out of lane was good, was really good, but we didn't see, as you kind of mentioned, RMC, like, Curti was taking him to task a little bit in lane, and Devas was taking him to task in the second lane, right? So we didn't see as much lane out of FNB. Curse was still solid. Bit of positioning woes, same as Rebello. Frosty's kind of the GOAT, and then Kaze is still Kaze. So they took maybe a half step back in the offseason from where they were, maybe a full step back, to be honest, and we need to see them kind of build back to where they were. The talent is still there, but we'll see if they can graduate from Furia Light to being Furia Prime. I don't know. Furia full fat, double stuffed. I don't know.
2%.
Yeah, 2% Furia, which somehow sounds worse. Okay, so... Right.
Appealing to the Americans as best as I can.
Yeah. We call them gold top Furia in the UK? I don't know.
Do they have red top Furia in Brazil? Red top Furia?
Anyway, right.
Sorry, anyone that's not British.
We've tortured that metaphor to death. Okay. So we've already kind of talked about Lost, so let's talk about Furia. Last is Furia, the only team with 3 wins. And they have gone back to Split 2 Furia, basically.
Yeah, Furia good.
They're outvaluing like passive incoming everyone in the league. They are still giving up mistakes early on, but they are incredibly skilled. They're team fighting well together. Gigo was really on form. Tuts had really easy mid lane matchups, I'll be honest, to play out, so he didn't really get pushed that hard, and he still managed to mess them up a couple times. The Akali game is slipping in my head. It was fine, right? The Victor game was great. Like the Akali game was a bit mid, and like he was certainly coming off a pretty rough split 3, so I'll give him a pass on this one. But yeah, I think like certainly like the top side of Furia was right back to where I wanted the top side. That's historically where they've been playing through in this iteration, and they were looking sick.
Even the bot side, I usually was in form with Jojo. Like they won their 2v2s every single time. Yeah, because their 2v2 has always been like the best part. Was like IU out of lane was never as good as IU in lane for me. Like we still saw some like weird mistakes and kind of young player mistakes later on, which didn't usually cost Furia games, but it did slow them down a little bit in fights. But yeah, the 2v2 with IU and Jojo is very sick. It's very, very good.
We've ramped a lot about a lot of these teams. Furia good, remained good from our expectations. Hopefully it continues and we actually see them fully accomplish what we know this composition of players can do.
Yeah, because we only have one
notes. Furia good.
we only have one spot to first ban, but we do have 2 more slots to the America's Cup. So at the very least, I expect to be seeing them play.
Do we sandbag FURIA in the CBLOL to send them to the America's Cup
to completely,
so that we have a chance at an international?
Completely wipe out the America's Cup with FURIA and just let BKS have another crack at first stand? I don't know. So
no, please.
So we shall see. But right, that's the standings. Right, let's take a quick detour to check the Fantasy League standings before we look at what we've got for next week. So from week 1, RMC has actually cleared the league. He's got 22 points and change ahead, having, with his favorite team in the mud, he has managed to still put together a very good fantasy team. And I felt like there were 2 ways to go if you were actually trying to really like moneyball it, which was you go for as much red as possible because they had really easy matchups. Or you potentially go for loud and go for meme factor, which kind of half worked. In one game it worked, in the other game it didn't. And there were some very underpriced, apparently, players. People like Marvin was like the lowest priced AD carry on Pain, which was kind of felt crazy. FNB was like the 4th highest priced top lane, which I thought was also crazy, considering how he ended it. Curse, I think, was underpriced.
Highwing was underpriced.
Highwing was like the 2nd lowest or something wild. He was like criminally, or maybe the 4th lowest, but he was very, very underpriced, I think.
Yeah, he was not top 4, which is mind blowing to me.
Yeah, and most of them did work out making bank back, except for Marvin, because I mean it's just a washout week. So like, I think it would have been crazy not to take an AD carry on that kind of team with that pricing, unless you're really just betting on either your favorite player or you're trying to make a swing bet for Dudu, perhaps. Like, plenty of people would have seen just like going for Lost for Dudu as like an exciting player, or maybe that's your cheap player that is an AD carry, so maybe they just put up numbers. And he did. He put up wild numbers because he had such a good week 1. So there felt like there were a couple of strands to go down, but the red strand ended up working out the best. And
FURIA, I think, worked out.
Yeah, FURIA was well, but a lot of the FURIA players were very expensive. Red felt like the value for money option with such easy matchups, and yeah, they made such a ham fist of it. They probably could have gotten more, but it did stretch out at least one of the games, which is beneficial for fantasy generally. So, so Lunar Day is in 2nd. I am 0.29 behind Lunar Day. So I am in the rearview mirror. Paradox behind. I think Paradox won.
You're in the blind spot, bro. You are so close. Like 0.29. That's not in the rearview mirror. That is.
Yeah. I'm in the backseat of the car. Like, I think Paradox won the last split, if I recall. Won at least one of them last year, I think. Just behind me. Then we got Ray with team We Must Beat Lunar. So me and Ray are aligned on that one. With then Lizard with the return of the Gay Mermaids, which is generally as much LLA as Lizard can pack into any team, which could have gone worse, to be honest. Leviatán getting some points done down in that red game helped out a bit, and then Dark Knight bringing up the rear. So we shall see how this develops, but obviously there will be that first big shuffle of prices, as there usually is after that week 1, because there were some absolutely criminal valuations there. So we'll see how that shakes up. Schedule for next week. Let's each pick a match that we want to see. We won't go through everyone because who has the time for that? Rude. Looking at these matchups, what's standing out?
Los FURIA, the fraud test.
Yeah.
Are Los actually good? I get the impression that when they've got the strength of schedule they have on the Saturday, where that they're vibing, they play FURIA on Sunday, game 5. We're finding out.
They could be 4-0 quite easily, quite comfortably into that FURIA match. Yep. So that does ramp up quite nicely. RMC, you think Pain's going to beat Fluxo maybe, or?
If they lose to Fluxo, that one would surprise me. Losing to the Loud was...
Well, they've got Red after that, and Red have also been a bit sus, if we're honest. So Pain could have a bounce back week, and
Pain versus Red is going to be Game of Thrones. Like, who can?
Yeah, it's maybe going to be more like Pain versus Loud and be a bit of a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, okay, low key, kind of weird, but you all know that sometimes I pick like kind of the weird matchups. Fluxo versus Lev is interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
because they're both
Someone's
got to
win.
Kind of bottom half. Yeah, exactly. they're kind of the 0-0 teams, and so one of them has to take a win there.
And if anything to go off of, will be a very fun game to watch.
Yes.
Yeah. From what we saw from Lev's early game and some of Fluxo's early game, they both have plans that are not helpless there, so they could be clashing.
Also, House versus Enga. I don't know why it just sticks in my head. The fact that they both played for Renska in the past and they were on the same like roster where they were sharing time. I don't know, that mid matchup just stands out to me because I'm just like, yeah, who actually deserved to start? Because I remember back then, I think House won out starting position, but I actually thought Enga was really good. And back then, also Enga's a bit of an Olympia player, so.
I might be entirely wrong and off on my CBLOL history, but isn't that the roster where the INTs, the Ninja Kiwi Award was birthed?
I think it was after that. I think Renska featuring House was before the Ninja Kiwi Award was birthed, because that was the Aoshi, just pre-Aoshi Ninja Kiwi, I think.
Okay.
So I think that was before I even started covering this league. Because Renska, by the time I joined, was in its like last ever season. We didn't even have FNB anymore. It was like, who even was it? I don't even know.
Yeah, Ninja Kiwi definitely started after the House Enga one.
Yeah,
because Ninja Kiwi was on the crazy like 13-man roster, whereas House and Enga was like the 10-man roster or 11-man.
Only the 10-man roster.
Was that with like Bounty or was that different? No, that was Flamengo. It was Flare and Bounty and a bunch of other people.
Yeah, no, Ninja Kiwi was on the one where they had like the Korean imports Hades and
Hades.
Who else? And like it was just like a nightmare roster, that one with the
INTZ was full flailing at that point.
We will at some point have to do a history lesson on the Ninja Kiwi Award, and like I'm honestly tempted to go back and make like a mini docu-series based on where it comes from, because that it really is too good.
Yeah, we almost came close to rebranding it at points last year, but we decided to keep the heritage. Because no one has yet been more elo held than him consistent so far. So it is still his award.
May he rest in peace. He vanished last year actually. He was on Flamengo, and then after Flamengo, like that one split in CD, he just vanished. So
yeah, it's a bit sad, but we shall see. I think for me, in terms of matches, I think Loud Los could be interesting. Kind of depends on which Loud we get. We saw two very different beasts there, and how real Los is. Because but that could be, if Loud takes that win, that definitely shakes up our understanding of kind of the mid pack and the lower or the middle part of the table a lot. And I think it has potential to be very cool. And then kind of Red Furia, because they're both Furia, and I think that one will also potentially devolve a little bit. Again, it kind of depends, like, if Red has, like, seen week one and gone, okay, guys, let's try and fix some problems here. But just, like, the full Brazilian versus Brazilian team, like most Brazilian team matchup, has potential to be highly memes, which I would enjoy.
And, tell me to do one. Do we have time to go back to the standings so I can bring up a quick little point before, because I think we're going to community questions
in a moment. Yes,
next. The idea that we came in with a top 4 and a bottom 4, right? After week 1, do we agree that there's some delineation in that we probably have a bottom 2 and then a mid pack and a top pack? Or are we still sticking with a top 4 and a bottom 4?
I think
because I don't think anybody's willing to put. I would hesitate to say that we're all saying Losa title contenders. So they're probably mid pack now, right? But putting them in the same band as Fluxo and Leviatán feels disingenuous to their week 1 successes.
Yeah, I think there's 3 strata now. I think the mid pack is now Los and Pain, and maybe Red, unless they shape themselves up. From week 1, Red's in the mid pack as well. By the way they played these games out, it's like Los, Red, Pain. Top is Furia VKS in some order, whichever order takes your fancy. I would put Furia first because I'm a fanboy, and I'm sure others would go the other way. And then the bottom is Leviatán and Fluxo. And which order I'd put them in, I can't really split them either, because we saw a little bit of something, but not much of anything. And Loud goes either at the top of the bottom pack or at the bottom of the mid pack, I think, in my head. But I have to put them above Pain, I suppose. Or maybe I don't.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Pain, the way Pain choked, you can put them wherever you want right now. And
yeah, but I think...
Except at the top.
Yeah, so it's maybe...
You can put them at the top. Pain fans won't complain.
So maybe I would do like FURIA, VKS...
Gap.
And then a line.
Yeah.
And then Los, Red, Loud, Pain, and then Leviatán and Fluxo in a next to each other.
Yeah.
That's, I think, what I would do.
I mean, for me in the first place, I didn't really have like a strict top 4 and bottom 4. I had like a 3-2-3 split initially. With Pain and Fluxo actually being my middle of the pack, but I think that's changed a little bit after watching. I think there's a top 3. I put Red in that top 3 because Cade did drop a game. Red technically hasn't yet. Red is sloppy, but I think they just need to tighten up, and we've seen them be tight. Yeah. Whereas Cade also was kind of sloppy when they lost that game against Los. So to me, it's Furia and then Red Cade. After week 1, maybe it's a slight overreaction, and then the middle of the pack is probably Pain, Los. I'm trying to say, Loud's the one where I'm not sure to put it at the bottom or middle.
It's kind of, because they just had one stinker and one banger. But
like, I believe
like
Bo and Young Jae are good, but the problem is Mago feels like a black hole right now. Like the Loud Leviatán game will tell us a lot, and that doesn't happen until like 2 weeks from now. But that will tell me a lot more about Mago, because I just feel like Mago is actually struggling really, really hard. If you get bodied that hard, like that becomes an issue, and middle of the map's too important. So Loud's I'll put the middle for now because I believe in the Young Jae Bull potential. And then Leviatán, Fluxo at the bottom.
It does seem like Loud at least doesn't have necessarily a necessity to play through Mago. Like, they have enough carry potential elsewhere that if they want to fully put him on support mid duty, it's a way they could play the game, and I think it's doable. But it does, obviously, as you say, it does leave a hole in the map either way, any way you cut it. And we have a lot of dominant mids like Kaze, maybe Tinones if he gets back to form, Miryu, like who will exploit that, and you'll have to deal with them because
like Loki. My concern is if you let Enga get away with the free lane,
and
you can get
Mago's not going to stop them. So
so and the weird part is this is not the Mago that we've been promised either. Like, Mago's supposed to be like the mechanical prodigy, like give him Irelia, give him assassins, and he'll just take over a game. Like, he's supposed to be like Kaze, or what we've seen from Kaze. So to me, that's the kind of the big issue for Loud. Even if you are not the carry for the team, at least don't be a detriment. Don't be the hemorrhage point for your team.
How are you feeling, Rude, on the split? Especially kind of that the ordering of the mid pack is kind of
I mean, I'm still I'm very, very skeptical of overweighing week 1, and I still don't know that I want to stick close top of mid pack based off of a VKS stomp, which leaves me a little bit in the lurch. I'm still FURIA VKS in whatever idea you want. You stick Red at 3 regardless if they go in that pack or at the top of the next one, and then after that, like, I'm hesitating to know whether or not I actually want to split them into 3 groups, or if I want to just split them into 2 of. Oh no, you have to separate. You have to separate Lev. You have to separate Lev and Fluxo from the rest of them, I fear.
Yeah.
And then you could argue if you want to put Loud in there. I'd still argue if you want to put Los in there. Pain, I will give 1 more week of these players are who they are, so they get another week before I put them in the bottom of the pack. But an 0-3 start doesn't give itself an immense amount of credit.
I mean, to be fair though, Pain does struggle beginning of the split, and you add Robo and Tinones who only play in playoffs basically. And we might not see Pain do anything till week 4, which the play-ins.
It's going to be a long set of weeks for the Pain fans. There's a long drought to endure.
It's fine, we're used to it.
At least everyone
Eternal second, man. We had to wait. How many splits was that? 5, 6 splits of second place?
Yeah, I think it was 5. Like 1 red and then 4 louds, I think, before the Pain breakthrough.
Yeah, it was. Oh yeah, because it was technically two reds and then 4 louds, but then they didn't make second place that first one. They choked against Renska. Yeah.
Lol. Okay. So that's the tricky mid pack, right? Let's look at some questions to wrap up. From the Discord, which anyone can join and submit questions every week. We will read them through and answer them on the podcast. Link below. This is Dark Knight. Depending on Pain's development through the Cup, if they still play like that, I expect them to replace Marvin with a Korean import, even if he's not the root cause of their issues, the easiest problem to solve. Do you think they'd actually get a Korean import? I don't think they'd do that, would they?
I don't think they can do it mid-season for the Cup, because the Cup is already so short. It's 8 weeks long. By the time they get somebody in, it's too late.
Is it even worse?
Maybe for Split 2?
Because like
I don't think so. I think build Marvin. Dude, we've seen so much success from Morteus, from Marvello, now from Dada. Like, the towns that Marvin beat them all like in the academy back in the day. They just kind of low-key screwed him by giving him over to Fluxo for a year. Like I think they just need to focus on developing Marvin properly. The biggest problem for Pain it's not Marvin, it's the lack of leadership right now, because Titan was such a big voice.
Isn't that wild? Isn't that wild though? You look at the names on this roster, and surely somebody on that roster has to have a voice. Like, after all of their history and all of their
to be honest.
Well, you look at it historically, right? Like, the last time they played together on Pain, BRTT was the big voice, right? And then after that, throughout the Jinkido, before Titan phase, they were struggling with Jinkido and Karaoke to be the big voice, but neither of them are natural in-game shot callers. They want to focus on their respective roles. And Titan, it got resolved when Titan came in. And you look over to Loud, Robo and Tin don't have a voice outside of the game, but in-game, a lot of times, Robo is like calling what he wants to do. And then the rest of the team plays around that, which is why Croc and Seos were so big. And then when they lost Seos for a bit, it took them a while for Redbird and Croc to find that rhythm to figure out how to shot call. So the problem is, I think they come back in and there's a lot of voices and experience outside the game, in review, in strat, in between games. But in the game, like where like, Titan dominates the comms. And now that he's missing, there's just like a void there they need to fill. Marvin Schwarzschild isn't going to be stepping up. He ain't no Tatu. Like, he's an AD carry. He just shuts up and clicks, right? Like, he's not the one calling. So, yeah, I think they just need to figure that out. They should be able to fix it. And that's why I'm not too worried about it.
Get Smiley in, bro. Buy him out from PKS.
Genuinely, I think if Smiley walks in, they make top 3.
Yeah. Bro was very cracked by the end of his VKS player run. Yeah,
I have no thoughts other than
I don't think
they need to develop.
Import, but yeah, I don't think there's anyone else floating around that it's worth replacing Marvin from domestically. There's just no one of that level, I think, is actually floating at this point that would be easy enough to pick up. So I think they probably just have to.
Let's get Talkers back in the league.
Talkers is coaching, so he can't
busy
even
being Red's head coach, I'm afraid. Mind. So
you know who they need? The 40-year-old trapper.
Don't bring the cow back, lost. Man. Don't bring the cow back.
There we go. That's all.
I was thinking of BRTT.
But Mikal was the player I was looking for there. I got them.
Yeah, Mikal might actually work.
When you just said 40-year-old, I was like, I don't know, Mikal.
I think BRTT might be older than Mikal, actually.
Quite possibly.
How old is he?
Okay, so like the only other person I was thinking of that's like might be floating around, I don't know what they're doing, is Natuno. I don't know where he is right now. Or get Ninja Kiwi in. Why not? Right? He's got a team.
No, Ninja Kiwi is not a shot caller.
Bring the boy. But I don't know.
Yeah, Natuno was on Los last year, so now that Los is promoted, I don't know where he is.
Who knows? That was actually another name just has come back to me that CL was mentioned that they'd like actually seriously looked at. Because like this was a player that seemed really good at times, but then like never really seemed to get the job done, and then kind of there became questions as to whether he's kind of missed the opportunity. But evidently there was still something kind of in the same kind of vein as Fu, which was kind of cool to hear because I've always liked Natuno. Anyway, sidetrack. Right, second question, which is from Lunar Day. Everyone knows Robo is a goat. I mean, that's true. I assume because he feeds on everything. Interesting. He does. What other farm animals would you compare to players right now? Which is a crazy question. Lunar Day brings questions like no one else, I will say. Now, are there ways to do this without being incredibly mean?
I think Bull's name is pretty accurate.
Bull is the bull, I guess. Yeah, he is the local farm bull.
I mean, he's built, he carries, and he does the name Bull. Like,
yeah, like who's the chicken, for example? Like who's the KDA player? Is there any do we have any KDA players that always like fleet? Because Brazil doesn't really have that much of a plague of KDA
Loki
players.
House.
He's not a KDA player. He runs it down
Loki, but his KDA is always good.
He's always running it down, man.
True, but when he's on bad teams, his KDA is somehow always good. So
Yeah, because he's good. Because he's a good player.
Canids has been accused of being a KDA player in the past as well.
Yeah. And
did anybody commit any big betrayals? Have we got any snakes? I don't think they do.
Oh no,
do,
Frosty
right?
Frosty TP'd away from Rebello when they were getting ganked and bombed in that second game. He like summoned a spell but swapped to TP
They were
and then
so
left.
screwed.
Yeah, like right call,
Yeah.
but it was really funny. So he can be the chicken of the week. Which kind of hurts because he had a good week, but like he did.
No man,
the
he
scene.
didn't betray.
He fled
That was
the scene.
ice cold play, man.
Yeah, it was correct, but it was pretty funny. It did look like he was just ditching the guy. So
Did anyone play Hecarim horse for farmyard animals? No.
Unfortunately not. I know you and
and we don't have Cavallo
I heard
anymore,
it.
so we don't have a
Yeah,
natural horse.
yeah.
Do we have any? Do we have any pigs? I've like because like you know in the I don't know if this
Which
is
of the Pain Gaming players would you
Yeah,
like me to list here?
'cause
That's
I'll be
week
honest,
one.
I don't know if this is the same in North America RMC, but like you know, bad players are referred to as pigs quite a lot in the UK,
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
in the UK league
Yeah.
scene. They're called pigs quite a
Yeah.
lot.
Okay.
So
I mean, it's not a thing here, but like calling somebody pig is definitely not flattering.
it's definitely not a nice
There's
thing to call
a-
somebody.
There's a nursery rhyme that I'm really keen to get hooked into. The hold on,
He's
I'm
really
instigate
keen,
sex
guys,
swing here.
on this.
No, in the
Where are we going with this?
it's like this little piggy went to market, this little piggy went to someplace else. So there's a saying that I really want to catch on in that this guy needs to go to the market. And it's a way of you calling somebody a little piggy for playing really badly.
Okay.
But it is a nicer way that it would fly over the heads of
Yes.
most and wouldn't come
Yeah.
across as an obvious dig.
It'd give a couple of people a good chuckle, and that's
Yeah.
what
That's
what we're
fine.
after.
If we're talking about that style play, Mago, Loki, that's
Actually, kind of, yeah. I think Margo kind of is the because like in the same way
If he's
that
supposed
like
to
you know
market.
IDL would call someone the bag ray of the week, like
yeah.
Margo is kind of the pick of the week, which is kind of tough.
Oh, you know who? Okay, Shino is the hippopotamus.
Farmyard
the
animals.
farm animal, yeah.
Farmer, that's me. Farmer. Okay. Farm
So
animals.
can you
Hey,
explain
I did
that
that
when I
quickly?
said
Can you
snake. I did that when I
explain
said
Is there a
farmers?
hippo farm somewhere? I know there are crocodile farms in the world.
Highly dangerous would be a hippo farm. Can you quickly explain why Shino is the hippo? 'Cause I'm
The Scion game, like, because hippopotamus and like hippopotamuses,
Hippopotamuses,
like they're
like
just basically
octopuses.
tanks in the wild. Like they're
Yeah,
they're
that does
They-
one shot passes by, and he did one.
yeah,
shot
like
Marvin.
they actually don't have natural predators. Like lions
Yeah.
can't take them down. Like
Yeah.
an entire pride of lions will go after one, and they can't get through their skin.
Mhm.
And the Scion game that Shino had, he was just tanking it. Like he just walked in there, and when they actually attack, like hippos will just wreck whatever they choose to go after. And
Yeah.
watching him go after Marvin that game was just like,
Okay, on
okay.
the condition that there is some absolute psycho trying to farm hippos like somewhere in the world, you know, we'll allow it, and Sheena
I
could
gotta
be the
look for this.
hippopotamus of the week.
yo, inside the industrial hippo farm, how giant herds are raised.
Okay,
There's
there
a
you go.
hippo farm in Vietnam.
They're
What?
crazy down there, bro. VCS is wild.
I literally just googled hippo farm, and it's a place called Hippo Farm in Vietnam. And service options, picnic table is available.
Okay,
Hey, man.
I'm not getting a pick at the hippo farm. That's
My theory is that Luna Day put this message in, and they were thinking, well, this will stump them. And I think we've done very well.
yes.
I think we've done very well.
Yeah, there's also a potential sheep, I guess, as the last easy kind of obvious farm animal, which for me is like, you know, it's like a
Anybody who
follower
doesn't talk.
without, yeah. So
Marvin,
somebody talks.
maybe?
He was kind of slaughtered as well. I think Marvin could maybe be the sheep. The wolves
guy.
really did a number on Marvin, and yeah, he is kind of in a team with like Tinones and Robo. Like you're probably the sheep in that team. That's like, and that's probably the way it has to be. No shade to him for this. Like if he tries
Yeah.
to heat check
Like-
Robo and Tinones, I don't think it's gonna pan out. But
What do you know about the league? Well, actually,
yeah,
Yeah, I'm just saying, Marvin's won international tournaments.
he has technically done that. Yes, he has.
Yep.
Okay, right. I think we've actually done a great job on that question. So thank you, Luna Day.
thank
Keep
you,
them
Luna
coming.
Day.
And Luna Day's second question is, in traditional sports, they have the tradition of Overreaction Monday, where after week one, you give a statement based off week one, like the entire season has been played. So what's your week one overreaction, basically, is kind of a concept that we've done before, I think. So what's like a week one overreaction? I guess that you can't just...
Firing Aoshi, that was the week one over.
Yeah, I think actually, Fluxo wins the child for week one overreaction. is there any others? Like, to be honest, like it's.
I mean,
not
the
really...
overreaction is Loso going to first stand. Which
the easy clip is Los goes to first stand. I think the one that's like still probably an overreaction, but is more tempered is like FURIA are the best team in the league again. They're just the best around. They've come back and they're the best because obviously we need to see them play VKS. And you know it's FURIA that the problems are still there. I can see the problems are still there. But that's my like only warm take. I won't class it as hot, but I think FURIA is the best team again.
Can we have Pain Gaming are the worst team as a
man.
week one overreaction?
Yeah, they're at the bottom of the table. Yeah, why not?
They're objectively,
If they go 0-5, which would be pretty horrendous, but at this point looks possible. We're cutting the feed, man. We're cutting the feed on the cup. We're going split one fast. So yeah, we'll see about that. Okay, I think that's us. We've gotten through all the questions. We've had that week one covered off, and we hope to see everybody back on the Twitch channel. Same time, same place, Saturdays and Sundays, starting noon local time, and a bunch of other times globally. Just Google it.
4 p.m. British, 8 a.m. Western,
some sort of crazy
11
early
Pacific.
time for Pacific,
Yeah.
And anywhere between somewhere else. So
are we scuffing it this weekend? I believe.
Huh?
Oh, it's Big Scuff
It
Dangle
could be
this
this
weekend
weekend.
as well.
Probably scuffed. I'm gonna see if we can
Let's
get
go.
our longtime producer Rose to give me a crash course in VMix because I have got the package onto VMix, but I don't know how to use it. If they don't, it will probably be a scuffed OBS angle. So we shall see.
Hell yeah.
But yes, hopefully we
are
have...
really going back to old school CBLOL.
I know.
In every which way.
Me producing in my university dorm room,
Yeah.
just praying that the fire alarm doesn't go off because somebody burnt some toast. Like,
You know,
Yeah.
if you're producing, dude, I will put on your kitchen and
I'll get the stand
Shout out to
mixer
the
out.
OTs.
Yeah, get the red mixer out and the teapot. We need the classics all laid out. Okay, remember you can follow us on socials on X and Blue Sky at CBLOL English. You can join our community Discord. Again, it'll be linked below, and you can join to ask us questions about the podcast. You can join the Fantasy League, and you can genuinely just interact with us to talk about CBLOL. And we hope to see you in the Twitch chat, whatever form it takes, on this weekend for week 2 of the CBLOL Cup. Bye!
Take care.